2 weeks later of content creation with the ASUS ZenBook 14X OLED. Let's see how this little guy managed to survive. Yes, what's good, people? It's man like Jamo. As I said, we're out here with the new ASUS ZenBook 14X OLED content creation laptop ting. Big shout out to ASUS for sending this down for me to just give you a little first impressions, basically. See how it lasted over the 2 weeks. I've literally just chucked it straight into the mix inside my normal weekly workflow of, content creation, a little bit of gaming, a little bit of word processing, and a lot of internet browsing and dealing with YouTube Studio through Google Chrome. And yeah, we're gonna just have a little casual chat, talk about how this laptop survived through that onslaught of content creator workflow. Now, first things first, let me get all the boring bits up out the way. Let's talk the specs. We're talking i9 13th gen, the latest processor as of now that you can get inside a mobile workstation. We got 32 gigabytes of RAM clocked at 4800 megahertz in this model, 1 terabyte of PCIe M.2 SSD, NVIDIA RTX 3050 with 4 gigabytes of VRAM, which is low-key good enough for gaming, but we're not going to talk too much about the gaming. We're going to talk about the content creation and how that 3050 deals with editing 4K video. Now, in terms of ports and I/O, on the left hand side you've got one USB 2.0 port. On the right hand side you've got a couple indicator lights to show you when the battery's charging and thing. You've got 2 Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports, which is wicked, up to 40 gigabits transfer speed on both of them. You got a 3.5mm combination headphone and microphone jack port, and you got a HDMI 2.1 situation going on. No SD card slot, and this is supposed to be a content creator laptop. If I record content on my camera, I have to get a dongle. I'm dongle gang. They forced me to be dongle gang with this laptop. It hurts, but somebody's got to do it. Now, boring stuff out of the way, I need to talk about the design, because obviously man is flamboyant and I like the flamboyant design that's going on the top. It's kind of giving me design student, it's giving me architecture. Like, if man pulls this out, you think man is gonna sort out the design of your yard, you get me? You think man's gonna do up the design of your kitchen or something going on here, fam. I do like the design. It is nice and simple. It's wavy, you got the little logo in the corner there. The bottom's pretty much boring. It feels like a very sturdy chassis. Does feel like a very sturdy chassis. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall apart anytime soon. And obviously we've got that one finger opening of the lid, which means say we're talking premium things. Now, moving on to what's arguably the best feature of this laptop, we have to talk about the screen, fam. Like, I swear it's the best screen I've even seen in any laptop that I've reviewed on this channel. We're talking 14.5 inch, 2.8K display here. On top of that, it's OLED, fam. So your blacks are looking black, the whites are looking white. The contrast ratio is just looking stupidly good, and all the colors are popping. But on top of that, the screen is also touchscreen, so you got all your touchscreen shortcuts there. And on top of even that, the screen goes up to 120 Hz refresh rate. We're talking gaming grade stuff, basically, kind of thing. Even though it's not a gaming laptop, you got 550 nits of brightness, Pantone color validated, fam. So if you're doing up Photoshop, say the colors that you're seeing on the screen are the exact colors that are going to be printed when you're doing your content. Bare other things that man doesn't understand, like DCI-P3 color gamut output, whatever, man will put them up on the screen. But yeah, this screen is just wavy, cuz. Almost forgot to mention the keyboard. Now, the keyboard is pretty cool, nothing really exciting about it. It does what it needs to do. Key presses feel kind of nice. Obviously it's not mechanical, but it feels kind of nice for a nice little laptop membrane keyboard. The function keys double up for like volume up, volume down, and them keyboard shortcuts there. Where I'm kind of excited is the touchpad, because not only is the touchpad nice and wide, but it also doubles up as a number pad if you hold the button in the top right corner, and it still functions as a touchpad in this mode, but where you tap the numbers and the symbols, it will function as a number pad. I think that's really sick. I've not really seen that in any other laptops. It is ASUS, you know how they innovate. I hope to see this feature in a lot of other laptops coming in the future, hopefully anyway. Now, I told you guys, man has literally thrown this thing into the deep end over the past 2 weeks in terms of my content creation workflows. And it's not like I've got a mad content creator workflow anyway. I literally take all my content on the weekends or sometimes on the weekdays if I've got an event, and then I edit it on the laptop. Usually I download it from Google Photos and yeah, edit it directly on the laptop. And as far as video editing goes, for shorts contents like 9x16 content, reels, YouTube shorts, TikToks, no issues whatsoever. Super fast, super quick, and super light on the battery, but that might be because I'm only editing 1080p 60 frames per second stuff in the first place, and that NVIDIA RTX 3050 don't have any issues with that. Even when I take it up a notch to 4K 24 or 4K 30 footage that I've shot on my Sony ZV-E10, I'm still able to edit that effortlessly without being plugged into a wall socket or without having to make proxies in my Filmora 12 video editing software. That's wavy, fam. Like, man has got enough right here to do my normal content workload, because 4K 24, 4K 30, that's where I'm at. However, this new Elgato Facecam Pro shoots at 4K 60, so does my phone. So I thought, you know what, let me try the 4K 60 content workloads. And that's where the ZenBook 14X OLED starts to struggle, or namely the NVIDIA RTX 3050 4GB starts to struggle. And it struggles in terms of when I put stuff on the timeline that's in 4K 60, there's lag in terms of me scrubbing along the timeline kind of thing, almost to the point where it's imperative that I need to make proxies before I start editing that 4K 60 content. Once it's all exported, that's all good. I don't need to make the proxies to export it. But if I want to edit it properly kind of thing, I'm gonna have to make the proxies and wait for the proxies to be made, because 4K 60 has this thing chugging for whatever reason, which is weird because it's only like twice the frame rate, but I guess that's what it is. Maybe a 3060 would have been a little bit better, I'm not too sure. Now, apart from video editing, everything else was calm in terms of content creation workload on this laptop, like doing Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Word, using Google Chrome to just play around with YouTube Studio, optimize the titles of my videos and stuff like that, watching Twitch. And oh, actually, do you know what, you just reminded me, I did a little piece of game streaming on this thing just the weekend gone, fam. Man, I had the 4K 60 Facecam Pro from Elgato plugged in, I had OBS installed, and I also had Steam installed with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart playing in 1080p 60. Now, it wasn't able to do the full 3K that this laptop screen is capable of, but that's okay because Twitch only takes up to 1080p 60 streams anyway. I was more impressed with the fact that not only is it playing the game at 1080p 60, it's also streaming the game to Twitch and Twitter simultaneously from one device. Now, laptops have to be quite decent to do that, because what most people do is they have the gaming computer and then they have the streaming computer, but this thing was doing both at the same time. I think that's a win. That's definitely a win. For my content creation workload, even though I'd like to stream more, I don't. But if I was a streamer, I'd be pretty much happy with this laptop. Now, as I said, it was at 1080p that I was playing Ratchet and Clank at, so I had to actually play it in a windowed. So for me, it kind of looked horrible, but for the stream, as you guys can probably see in the B-roll now, it looked wicked. Like, there was no issues whatsoever, and the latency, the connection to the internet and all that was all wicked too. But yeah, you know what, guys, I'm not mad at this laptop. It pretty much ticks all the boxes I needed to tick for a content creation laptop. A nice fast processor, a decent enough graphics card, a nice little bit of storage and upgradable storage as well, a good piece of RAM in there so that man can do all the multitasking, Thunderbolt 4 and thing like that, HDMI 2.1. The only thing I would have loved is for it to have a micro SD card or a SD card slot, as I said before, so that man doesn't have to use a dongle. I'd also like for the speakers to be upwards firing. I didn't mention that earlier. They do sound really good. They do sound like they have a lot of full range, a little bit of bass in them, but for my ears specifically, they sound kind of muddly because they're downward firing. But yeah, guys, apart from downward firing speakers and an omission of an SD card reader, which can easily be solved by connecting the laptop to some external speakers or wearing a headset or just having a USB to SD card reader, yeah, I'm pretty much game with this laptop. It's pretty much a W, fam, for all content creators. Yeah, man, I'm not mad at it at all.